A wise man once said these words during an acceptance speech.
Love will make you do crazy things.
I think that the movie that I'm about to review here proves that quote. In a bit of an extreme way, but it still applies. So if you like to see bizarre movies with multiple story arcs that are quite unique, then I may just have the Pic-a-Flic for you. Cue the instrumental intro. Hello, movie flicker pickers and podcast listeners, and welcome to the Pic-a-Flic podcast, a series that features reviews of film and sometimes TV, and is hosted by yours truly, the Western Wonder. In this episode, I'll be covering a movie that recently released that, for the first time this year, had me at a literal loss for words on how to present and furthermore talk about it. But we're going to get right into it in a moment. That film in question is titled Kinds of Kindness from filmmaking extraordinaire Yorgos Lanthimos, and this is his 10th motion picture. This is the third Lanthimos film that I've watched, the previous two being The Favorite, with delightful performances from Emma Stone, Rachel Weisz, and Olivia Colman, and most recently Poor Things, starring Emma Stone in a film that I didn't quite know what to make of either. So it's going to be interesting to see how this will hold up when it comes to a later rewatch down the line. But for listeners who have not seen the film yet, let me break down the synopsis for you the best way I know how. So basically this film is an anthology story told in 3 different parts, with actors playing different characters in each story, though they are somehow connected through just one character who's known under the alias RMF. Trust me, I don't know either, but at least they kept it vague, you know? The first segment follows evil Matt Damon, Jesse Plemons, who plays a devout follower to a cult leader played by Willem Dafoe, and his commitment to Green Goblin's cult is tested in more ways than one. Meanwhile, in segment 2, aka the moment I realized, they're doing different characters, depicts Jesse Plemons and Mamoudou Athie, aka the Blue Bob from Pixar's Elemental, playing police officers who, along with their wives, respectively played by Emma Stone and Margaret Qualley, find themselves getting into...
Oh my goodness!
Are you serious?
Not what it looks like.
Right in front of my salad?
I'll leave that for you to find out. Anyway, the real focus here is on Plemons suspecting that his wife, Miss Stone, may be cloned after her brief disappearance has her acting a bit different. And for the final segment, there's a full circle moment with the returning theme of cults, with Mr. Plemons and Miss Stone being members of a sex cult fronted by Mr. Dafoe and his wife, played by Chau, who witness some weird activities. All the while, Miss Stone is seeking a person to bring a body back to life and is dealing with concerned interference from her estranged husband, played by Alwyn. So my initial thoughts after watching this were...
What the fuck?
I still don't quite know what to make of it. Now don't get me wrong, I still enjoyed the film and all of this weirdness, and that's in part thanks to the performances from the cast, particularly one Mr. Jesse Plemons, who rightfully won the Best Actor honor during the Cannes Film Festival, who really intertwined their characters to the surreal, off-kilter story as well. Also, a big shout out to the composer, Dreskin Fendrix, who also backed the score for Lanthimos' Poor Things for matching the kooky mood. The segments varied in quality to me, but if you want my personal opinion of which one stood out to me and might hopefully stick out to you as well, was the second segment, simply because it goes through a variety of different scenarios and you won't know what will happen next. This is only rivaled by the final act where Emma Stone has a dancing moment that mirrors her skills in the 5-minute Best Picture winning film La La Land.
1, 2, 3, 4, I'm dancing from my vagina. 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm grinding. Orgasmize, and we're done.
She is really good.
I feel that making the story split up in 3s helps in not making you feel the runtime of nearly 3 hours, what I thought would have been the longest movie that I watched this year. But another movie that has recently caught my eye plans to dethrone that. The Adrian Brody-centered movie The Brutalist, which has a runtime of nearly 4 hours. Wow. Irishman, eat your heart out, baby! However, and while each segment does a good job at pulling you into this bizarre storyline, and this is a bit of a downside for me about the movie, it probably could have worked a bit better for me as a limited series to let each segment breathe a little bit and give some more lineage to each characters. Speaking a bit further on the absurdities of the film, one scene that fascinated me actually happens during one of the credit intermissions where various dogs reenact daily human behaviors, and I actually kind of wanted an extended cut of that alone because they stole the show for me. And honestly, I think that would probably settle down PETA, who, after seeing a moment of a dog who gets injured around segment 3, probably went and angrily punched their way through a field of begonias and chrysanthemums. On the popcorn meeting rating scale, I'd have to give Kinds of Kindness a very light 3.5 out of 5 popcorn buckets. As mentioned, there are tremendous performances from the cast, a brilliant score, terrific cinematography, and all around a major mind shaker. If you like weird, surreal movies of this sort, this might be up your alley, and if it is, I highly recommend it. After all, I do it to support the dogs. After some very untruthful rumors about them have been spread in a certain state in this country, they do need some emotional and financial compensation. And that's going to be a wrap for this review. Now don't go anywhere, there's a special promo for this month's scheduled reviews. Roll tape. Welcome to the Pic-a-Flic Scary Series, where the Western Wonder will be uncovering a series of reviews for several horror movies that are sure to keep you in the Halloween spirit. In the review docket, look for reviews of In a Violent Nature, Late Night with the Devil, and the classic Night of the Living Dead. There will also be a special collaboration for another movie that will be announced later in the month, so be on the lookout. Keep an eye on the Pic-a-Flic page on Letterboxd for reviews of Longlegs, Strange Darling, Oddity, and an additional title to be covered in November. Besides, who said that spooky season can't be extended through the month of turkeys? All that and more coming your way on the Pic-a-Flic podcast. Now back to you, Mr. Western Wonder. Thank you, serious voice guy that suspiciously sounds like me for some reason. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to the pod wherever you're listening, and follow the show on platforms including Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Letterboxd under the username at Pic-a-Flic-Pod. That is at PICAFLICPOD. And speaking of Letterboxd, if that is your cup of tea, I will be doing some exclusive reviews there, as you just heard. And I recently put up one for Zoe Kravitz's directorial debut feature Blink Twice, starring Channing Tatum and Naomi Ackie, so be sure to check that out if you're interested. Thank you all for listening to the show, and until the next, this is your host, The Western Wonder, and I'm signing out. Peace and taco grease.
Bye, have a great time.